marriage is for child creation. It would be great for child
No, it's
community and
not
all
just
of
for
these
that.
things. And now, listen, by the time the religious aspects got into marriage, they were people heads off and burning Bibles. So listen, I know we want to take it back to the past and act like the past was better, but there's always a negative part of the past. If you go back and you look at the English, this has all been there. People were getting their heads chopped off. The Crusaders were doing their things across countries, and they were spreading Christianity through
So,
threats and
what's that have to do
violence.
with anything?
Now, that's what you're trying to uplift. That's what you're trying to uphold.
I don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
You wouldn't know what I'm talking
I
about. That's
don't.
where you're lacking.
I have no
so
idea.
catch up. You're sitting
What
across
does the
from me. I
Crusades
want
have
you
to do with divorce?
That was when your holy marriage
Uh-huh.
was the best marriage that you're trying to go to. Now listen,
In the
if we're trying to drag it back-
1950s? Were we crusading
No,
in the
no, no,
1950s?
no, 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 no.
What the hell are you talking
You
about?
talked about the institution of marriage for 2,000 years.
Yeah.
Sir, do you need me to catch you up on what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
but,
You're having trouble
you know what
keeping up
marriage-
with me.
do you know what
You're
marriage looked
having
like
trouble
50 years
keeping up with
ago?
me. You said
I am.
2,000 years ago.
Truly,
and
your
I told you
intellect is
2,000
dizzying.
years ago, they were chopping people's heads off.
Which has what to do with
I
anything?
need you to catch up with me, sir.
Okay.
If you want to take things back to the past, you have
Uh-huh.
to accept everything as the past. You can't just cherry pick. Now,
What?
here's the thing. You're cherry picking. If you want to take things back to tradition,
Uh-huh.
take it all the way back. Why stop at the 50s? Take it back to the 1890s.
What you're saying right now is so incoherent. I actually don't even understand
Well,
it.
that's what. Listen, when you're
It's
when
completely
you're running out of bullets,
incoherent.
when you're running out of bullets,
Well, it's
the
just
last thing you do
incoherent.
is the shame. All right,
I'm not
listen,
even trying to
are
shame you. It's
struggling?
just incoherent.
I need you to catch up with me.
Okay, catch me
I-
up.
just say you're lacking if you can't keep it up.
It's
All right,
an
now here's the
incoherent-
problem.
it's
Here's
incoherent.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem.
I don't know what to tell you.
Here's the problem you're having.
2,000 years ago, they were chopping heads off. Who gives a shit?
Listen,
What does that have
you
to do with
said
anything?
2,000 years ago. I'm coming up with yours. Your holy religious 2,000 years ago. It's been a part of
What
the
does that
institution.
have to do with this?
Exactly. Here's the problem. You're cherry picking.
Cherry picking what?
Listen.
I'm
you want-
listening.
I'm gonna slow you down. I'm gonna
Slow
slow
me
you
way
down because
down.
I see what you're doing here. I'm gonna slow you down.
Okay.
Because it's hard for you to keep up.
It is. You're
I
right.
understand.
I
I
am-
understand because you
I
haven't
am
been across. This is your
bedazzled.
toughest debate. Your audience knows this.
Oh, it's rough.
There's no God in marriage
Okay.
in the United States.
Yeah.
Can we agree to that? When you get to divorce, there's no God in
we
marriage.
can't agree to that.
We need to agree to it because when you go into divorce court,
Yeah.
there's no God.
Yeah,
you
but
can't bring in your God
thought-
and your Bible. And at that particular point, none of your
Mm-hmm.
ecclesiastics marriage works.
Okay.
Period.
So the thing is, you just said, can we agree that there's no God in marriage? And then
You don't have to agree.
But hang on, calm down. And then you switched over to divorce. There's no God in divorce. But those are two different questions and proposition. Hang on, relax. The second thing is that me saying that what made marriage a great institution is this whole Sky Daddy character, and that the institution has been in place for 2,000 years, and
we
it's
go,
been.
2,000
Hang on,
years.
calm down.
2,000
And it's been a
years.
strong institution. I'm not actually sure how tying in that at the time they cut people's heads off, what that has to do with the fact that in the 1950s and 40s, you still had 95% of these marriages staying together. This is not ancient history. This is not even early American history. Hang on, that's in your grandfather's lifetime, basically. And this, by the way, that was the case for black marriages as well. Very strong institutions. But all of those institutions were that way because they followed that whole Sky Daddy thing. They were like, oh, that Sky Daddy's going to smite us if we don't. And so what you do here is you're giving the classic progressive argument, which is, well, you know, guys, it is true that it's a great institution, and it is true it's the best place in the world to have children for the continuation of the species. And also, it's fantastic for men's health. It's fantastic for their mental health. It's great for them in almost every way. But that divorce thing is real bad. And I counter. You're right. That divorce thing is real bad. We have now a center of agreement. But now we're going back to the marriage in the West thing, which is that whole great institution problem. Well, if we agree that what made it good, which you just did, is, hey, that Sky Daddy guy, and then I point out that right now you can still utilize that Sky Daddy guy for an ecclesiastical marriage outside of the state. Hang on. And the only thing you could do is say, well, what about common law? But you can't govern anybody from common law. And at least in the ecclesiastical institution, you have social pressures on women to stay married. You can't offer a man anything like that. Give me a single social pressure you can offer that would actually keep these marriages together. One. What? One. Just one.
Can I answer something
Yeah.
you just said? This would be interesting.
I can't
because
wait.
you said
But
the
can you answer that question then
No,
ask?
before.
Oh, of
The
course. Of
1940s.
course, you gotta ask me a question.
Because
before you
listen,
answer
I'm
mine.
listening. I'm listening to you. You asked the question at the end. If you would have asked it at the beginning, possibly I might have been able to address it. But let me address this point.
Okay.
You said the 1940s and 1950s with this imaginary sky daddy controlling marriages. That sounds like enforcement, because by the time the
Doesn't it?
1970s came around, the very first chance women got to file a no-fault divorce without need for evidence, without need to have a private investigator to prove an affair.
Was no
They
fault the
did-
70s?
Yes, it was the 70s, started by Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll educate
But-
you.
but hang
came,
on.
came along. Hold on for a second.
Hey man, Coach Greg Adams, we got to do better, man. We got to do better than this, man, because this right here does not make any sense with our coach, right? It don't make any sense with our coach because he's just personally attacking Andrew Wilson. He's just personally attacking Andrew Wilson, and it's just like, man, you're kind of showing the side that your feminists would show when they can't win an argument, that your liberals will show when they can't win an argument. Now, the whole thing about this situation is that Andrew Wilson is just simply saying that, listen, if we can have our marriages actually be governed by God, by our churches, the churches that we attend, it will have better outcomes than actually being married to the state. Now, Coach Greg Adams is arguing that, well, there is no God in marriage, right? There is no God. So, of course, Andrew Wilson is just pretty much arguing hypotheticals and arguing whataboutems, right? Arguing what if, arguing here is how it can change. Coach Greg Adams is just trying to say, well, now I'm focused on what is right now. And Andrew Wilson is arguing that, of course, we could get all men together, because I would say most of your men would want to follow Andrew Wilson's blueprint of getting married. I would want to get married through my tabernacle. People would want to get married through the church because they are married under God, right? But let's just be honest, once you sign that paper, you are married to the government. You're not married under God, you're married to the government, because Andrew Wilson is saying we're trying to get from under the system. We're trying to keep the state and keep the government out of our business, because with no fault divorce, women can just up and leave. But yet they decided to sit here and read a whole vow, and a lot of these people are getting married under God, but yet all they are doing is breaking the vows and breaking promises, and the state is giving these women the incentive to do so. Hey, we'll go ahead and get married, and then once y'all divorce, we can go ahead and put this man on alimony, we can go ahead and put this man on child support, even though he's going to want to fight for his 50-50 custody so he doesn't have to pay child support. Nah, we're going to go ahead and put all the burden on the mother, right? Because that's what the mother wants. The mother wants all the burden, right? She wants to take on all the kids, and we're just going to go ahead and try to siphon as much money out this man as possible. And Andrew Wilson is just saying that's not, we don't want to have, we no, right? If you're going to actually keep, if you're going to put God first in your marriage, right? If you're going to get married under and through God, then of course, where is that going to come from? It's going to come from your church, and the church should be able to dictate who gets divorced and how the divorce happens. Now the state, of course, this is what Andrew Wilson will be arguing. The state can acknowledge that y'all are married through the church, so hey, y'all can still get the benefits. Y'all can still the marriage. Me and my wife, we can still get the benefits, right? If we just got married through our church, we can still get the benefits from the government, right? But when it comes down to the divorce, the government has no say in what we do. Only the church, only my priest, only my overseer. And Greg Adams is saying, I could care less about what ifs, right? And I mean, we're obviously trying to come up with a solution so we can get somewhere. That's the whole point of this whole conversation. We're trying to find a solution to where we can make marriage more accessible to men, right? And what I mean by accessible to men, where we're not allowing women to be able to just take advantage of marriage, be able to take advantage of divorce. Oh, well, I just don't feel like I want to be in this family anymore. We see many videos of women destroying their families just because they're sensitive or because they just feel like, hey, I'm not fulfilled.
It was the things that he said and the way they made me feel. That's the reason why I'm not with him today. And one of those things that he said to me was when we were already splitting up and I was moving out, and I was telling him like, hey, we don't need to do a nasty divorce, but like, you do need to like give me some money to go on about my way, because I've been a stay-at-home mom for the past year and a half, and I don't have anything to show for that year where I could have been earning money. I was at home taking care of us. Like, you got to work because of my sacrifice, so I deserve something, and like nothing unreasonable, but just something so that I can breathe, so that I'm not like paycheck to paycheck, literally. And he told me, he said, and I also said that, yeah, I didn't work, but like I provided value because I gave birth to 2 children and I raised them, and I helped with family life. And his answer was, what you did, that's not how value works. What you did didn't have any value because there was a lot of women who wanted to give me kids.
Hey, man, I had a conversation with my wife, and I just told her, man, I just woke up one day and, I can't do this no more. I can't do this husband and father thing no more. You know what I'm saying? So I'm leaving her. I'm leaving the kids with her. And, I just got to do my own thing because I just woke up one day and I was just like, something don't feel right. Something don't feel right. I need to do something different. I need to find myself. That sounds real stupid coming out of my mouth, doesn't it? As a man, that sounds really stupid, but it just sounds just as stupid coming from a woman's mouth as well, But when I went to that comment section of that lady that said that, there's nothing but praise in there. A lot of women saying, oh, you're doing the right thing. Let's normalize leaving the kids with the dad. All this bullshit. But in reality, all this is a selfish ass woman. And she's just as selfish as all them deadbeat dads that will lay down with a girl, have unprotected sex. She gets pregnant and then they run away from their responsibility.
And here are some examples of what he's talking about.
I see women on this app like crashing out because of how horrible like their ex-husbands are, their baby dads are, just like ruining their life and just, making their life so difficult. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so horrible what those women are going through. And now I'm one of them. I filed for divorce 2 months ago. I've been trying to look for an apartment, and the places that I'm looking at, I need to make 3 times the rent to be able to rent them. And unfortunately with my job, I'm a CNA. I don't make 3 times the rent. So I need a child support order to be able to add to my income so I can meet the requirement. And I've been trying to get into some sort of settlement with my soon-to-be ex-husband on that. And basically, he is blackmailing me, I guess. He wants me to sign away all rights I have to his military retirement. He is in the Army. He has been in for 18 years. He'll be retiring in 2 years. And I've been married to him the entire time. So the retirement's a marital asset, so I am entitled to part of it. We've been going back and forth and fighting about it, and I just can't take it anymore. I just want to leave. I just want to move out, and I just want to start my life over. So I offer to sign away my right to the military retirement in return for spousal support and the entirety of the savings account that we have.
It's just not worth it dealing with someone else every single day of your life. Every day. Every day you gotta deal with somebody. Is marriage even worth it? It's not. It's not. At some point you're gonna realize that it's always best to just be alone. Because I've been married for about 7 years and I don't even know if this is worth it. And not saying that there's anything necessarily wrong. There's nothing wrong, and that's the point. I don't even know why I'm upset. I'm just...
Usually I let it play a little further than that, but I was waiting for the part where she just gave us, the whole spiel about what he doing to her, how he molly-whopping her, and maybe he got 7 chicks on his side, maybe he brought her a disease, bad father, bad gambler, lost the house, maybe lost his business, got laid off from his job, play video games every day, smoke, can't pass a drug test, something. I was waiting on the bad guys. And she said it's nothing.
It's sick. It's sick.
Yep. No.
Yeah.
I got the
Go
floor
ahead.
here. I got the floor. So you said the religious institutions governed it and made it great. The 1970s came along, and soon as they did,
Feminism.
women started to file divorces at record rates, which is back to my conversation. Soon as you remove the authority of Sky Daddy, now you're back with the state. And now you have difficulty, and now the risk is now greater.
Oh.
So that's the issue that
Then
you
it
have.
sounds like men should be moving towards Sky Daddy then, because it mitigates the risk.
The courts the nation should be
There's
moving
no
towards that.
courts.
But how do you enforce that?
What court? What courts?
your
You're
land is
not
in-
getting a marriage from state. What courts are involved
everything
here?
you told me is a make-believe scenario.
How? You can
You're
do it right
telling-
now. How is it make believe?
How do you do that when people
Here's
the
what you
marriages
do.
do state?
Yeah.
I know you want to go
I'll
back
tell
to
you how.
Ecclesiastics. This
No,
is
I'm
going to be
telling
a
you, you can
problem.
do it right
Okay.
this second.
Okay,
You
can
can go
do it.
do it right now.
You can do it at this particular
can't
point.
do.
However,
What do you mean?
here's the problem.
Okay.
Can you get men to do it?
Yes.
Okay, you might be able to think you can get men to do it, but as soon as they do it, I want you to stick around for the average of 8 to 10 years when these men start getting divorced. See, what you're doing is you're leading.
We've
men,
been
hold on
watching
for a
it for
second.
longer.
You've been leading. You're going to lead men into a burning building.
Oh.
And the reason why,
Uh-huh.
and this is a famous quote by Martin Luther King, is because the laws of integration didn't catch up fast enough for what he wanted for people to integrate. And what happened was it took him 12 to 15 years to realize that he led men or black people into a burning building in which integration was not possible at the time.
Okay.
You are also proposing the same thing. And I would like for you to
How?
stick around to see the results of what you're proposing, because eventually you would have to pay the price.
I
How did
see.
Martin Luther King pay the price? You would have to pay the price for the men that you misled.
So Martin Luther misled men, and that's why he was killed.
I said he misled black people. You missed that part.
Those
He said,
are
okay,
right.
let me repeat it, because
Yeah.
you're slow.
I
All right,
am,
you
you're
definitely
right.
are slow, Neanderthal.
That's for sure.
Let me tell you something.
I'm dragging
Martin
knuckles
Luther
over here.
King said specifically,
Yeah.
related to black people and civil rights,
Yeah.
I'll speak slowly for you,
Yeah.
that he believed at the end, he led them into a burning building. I'm going to speak slower. The
Okay.
reason why is because the laws of integration
Yeah.
did not catch up with what he would like to present. Black people weren't ready to integrate. As a result, he said, I may have led my people, that means his people, into a burning building.
Okay.
I would like for you, under your scenario, if your movement takes off,
Yeah.
to see the results, because it took Martin Luther King 12, 15 years to see the
Okay.
results
I understand
of
now.
his efforts.
Yeah.
You're proposing something very extreme that majority of people aren't going to do. But let's just say if, because you like to hide in the clouds of make-believe, if
They did.
this works,
Right.
I would love to see you represent these men in a divorce when they get their head bit off by these so-called women that are forced by Sky Daddy to stay in these
This
marriages.
is really like I don't even understand how
You
to
don't
re-
understand.
how
I
to
know
re-
you have a hard time
I
understanding.
do. I don't actually even understand how to respond to a lot of this because it's so incoherent. But I'm going to try anyway.
Oh yeah, see, this is
So
I
let's
see
start-
this is his always incoherent when he understands. Perhaps you don't
This-
understand.
this isn't-
that might be what it is,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's okay to say you don't understand, and I can speak slowly for you.
I don't understand now, but I'm going to
Of
tell you
course.
why. I'm going to
Of
tell you
course,
why.
dismissive. I mean,
I'm going to tell you
it's
why.
okay. When
It's-
you're losing, just say
okay,
you're losing,
well,
and I can speak.
let
for
me
you
know
a
when I
little
can
bit
talk
slower.
and you gas out.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So
Yeah,
here's
typical tactic, but you
here's-
can work that against these
Okay, so I still
OnlyFans
can't
girls.
talk.
Hey,
Go
listen,
ahead.
you can work that tactic against those OnlyFans girls that you debate, debating 23-year-old ignorant women.
they're smarter than you.
But now
They're
you're
smarter
sitting
than you.
across from a person.
They're always
here-
smarter than you.
Yeah, you're sitting across from a person here
Oh no.
that's looking at a Neanderthal, say you don't understand something very
Well,
simple.
let me know when he gas out
This
so
is
I
the
can respond.
simplest thing that you can understand.
Okay.
Your go. Your go.
Are you sure? I can
Please.
actually do it this
And
time.
please, put me to sleep. please.
Okay, so
Put me to
here's,
sleep.
Here's why it's incoherent, and there's a bunch of this I don't understand. You keep on saying that these men are going to get divorced, and yet I'm proposing non-state marriages. How are they going to get divorced? Well, you can only say then via common law. But again, you have no defense yourself against
These are if scenarios.
I don't-
I mean, come
I don't-
on,
I
man.
don't-
Please,
I
you
don't-
said I was going to debate somebody
This
that's going to
is-
come.
Why do you
This
keep
is a if
filibustering?
scenario.
Are you? I
Give
let
me a
you
real
speak.
scenario,
I let you
please.
speak the entire time.
Give me something to speak about.
Okay,
You're giving me
I'm
an
not
if
asking you to
scenario.
speak. I'm
You're
asking you
trying
to
to invite
listen.
me to your church.
I'm just
I'm not going to
asking
your
you
church.
to
Please give
listen.
me a real scenario.
You have to shut up long enough for me to
Come
do
on,
it.
please. I've been here 30 minutes waiting for you to do it.
All right.
Give
So,
me a real scenario.
okay, so what I don't understand here, again, and I'm going to ask again, in your incoherent worldview,
Okay, please.
you keep on saying that these men who I propose this to are going to get divorced. But I'm not proposing that they get married through the state. The state's the one who does the divorces. So the only thing you could say is that there's a potential for common law here. But that's something you yourself cannot guard them from by your own admission. The second problem that we have here is that I don't have to stick around for 10 or 15 years because we can look at the numbers right now in religious marriage for what this looks like. And here's what this looks like. If you're a Catholic, you're way less likely to get divorced. And if you're Orthodox, even less likely to get divorced. And it's because of that ecclesiastical structure. You're not ever going to be able to prevent all risk from divorce, not under anything.
Thank you, God. That's
Not-
the best. That's the most realist thing
Not
you've
under
said
any,
all day.
but not under any system
Correct.
is that going to be the case.
But
And
why
you
are
don't- and
Catholics
you-
getting divorced?
And you
How
don't
do they
even
get
want it to. They
divorced?
get annulments. They don't even get divorces.
Okay,
And it's
but
a
how does it
really long
So
process, and it's rare.
Christians have a similar divorce rate than the secular.
No.
So they have a
No.
very close. So how do they get divorced?
I'm going to
How
explain.
do Christians get
Calm-
divorced?
If you, I'll answer
Please,
your question.
please tell me, because
So-
I know how to get divorced.
So
Say it
if
right
you
into the
say-
divorce court.
Yeah, I know. So because they call it a state marriage.
Right.
Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
I'm proposing that they don't do that, right?
Okay, a land of make believe. If
How's that a land of
If-
make believe? You can go do it right now.
please tell me what
What are you talking
listen,
about?
What percentage of people do this particular thing that you're doing, that you're proposing?
Why
What
would that
percent-
matter? Let's say
Why
it's
does it
one
matter?
person.
Okay,
Why would
it's-
that
okay,
matter?
it's one person. So you're taking a very small chance. You're
Uh-huh.
arguing against me that has millions of people on my
Who
side
are getting
and
divorced and
millions-
you don't want
But
them
you're
to.
telling me a small 20 people in a little house on the prairie
Yeah.
that do these, that you govern people without electricity and,
Okay.
and you riding horse and carriages.
Yeah.
You're telling me this small percentage of people
Uh-huh.
are going to lead a movement of doing something you're proposing here on YouTube. This is going, how many people are doing this?
Okay. Why would
How many
that
peop-
matter?
It would matter because
Why?
then we can use some data to determine, do these people end up in divorce?
Well, we can
More
do it.
than likely.
This is great
Please
because
do.
we can look at the data. So
I
let's
would
look
love
at.
to, please.
Do you want to look at the Catholic data and Orthodox
No,
data
no, no,
for
no,
marriage?
no. We're talking about your ecclesiastic proposal.
That's
what
is
we're
the
talking about.
This is
Okay.
the ecclesiastical
If
proposal.
we're using Catholic and Christians, their divorce rate tends to be very
No.
close. It's,
I'll look it up.
It's very close. Let's go
Not
ahead and look it
Catholic.
up. Hold on for a second.
Self-ID'd Christians.
Okay,
Self-ID'd Christians.
Okay.
Self-ID.
Self-ID. No, let's just put Christians.
Christian?
He's like,
Christian and
he
Catholic?
You
likes
have to
dice up-
define. You have
he
to tell
likes
me
to
what a
di-
Christian
He likes
is.
to dice up all of these
It's
people. And listen,
important.
listen. I would love to go to your church one day. I would
Okay.
be a wonderful guest, and I would love to thump the Bible, and I would love to say a prayer with you.
Uh-huh.
However, this conversation is entering
Can we
into
pull up my screen?
very much a Sky Daddy conversation, which
All right, we got
then it's about
Who
belief.
brought up Sky Daddy? You.
It's, you brought,
Yo,
you
we,
brought it up
we
about
got
the
the divorce rates
ecclesiastic
pulled up right
marriage.
here.
That's not.
You
Has,
brought that up.
What is that?
So that is a religious
If
argument.
you're an
which lowered
atheist, you
people
should
in
be
a
able to
religion.
con-
Okay, listen,
contend with
listen,
that,
A lot of
dude.
people would not want to do that. You're telling me a small percentage
Who
of people are going to
cares?
do this.
We're talking about mitigating the rates of divorce. It
now,
doesn't matter how many
Can
do
we
it.
move forward from this one? We agree to disagree.
No, we
Can
don't
mo-
agree to disagree.
Okay,
I need
so you want
counter
to keep it here in
arguments.
your land of make
I want
make-believe.
counter
No, I'm
arguments.
not going to argue in your land of make believe.
Yeah,
because
because you can't.
Because,
You have no counter
because it's
arguments.
ridiculous. It's
You don't have
ridiculous.
one counter argument.
Here's a counter argument.
Okay, what is it?
There's no God in marriage. How many times do I have to say that?
That's an
If you
assertion.
end
It's
up-
not an argument.
If you end up in divorce court, God doesn't matter. None of this matters. That's real. That's the realest argument that you can possibly hear. Soon as she
How do
goes-
you end
hold on
up
for
in a
second, hold on.
divorce court without the state?
Hold on for a second. Hold on
How?
for a second. Hold on for a second. I'm going to tell you how.
Okay.
In the 1940s, which you so love, I
Uh-huh.
don't know why you don't live there. You look like you live there. You're dressed like you live there.
They
Here's
wore
the problem.
hoodies and
Hold on
jeans
for a
in the
second.
40s,
Hold
did
hold
they?
on for a second. Here's the problem.
Okay.
These people, under your authoritative, godly marriage,
Yeah.
still got divorced at high rates.
No, they
Once
didn't.
no fault divorce showed up, it started at 25%. Then by the time you get here, it's close to 40 and 50%. It's still prevalent. I'm giving you the reality
That's
here.
not the
You're
reality.
trying to drag me back over here to the little house on the prairie. It's not working. It's not going to work with me. How about this?
How about a counter
If traditional,
argument?
if
Can I get one
traditional
of
marriage,
those?
I gave you one. I
What?
mean, come on, man.
What is the
Come on,
counter
man.
argument? Come
Listen,
on, man. It's not a
listen,
counter
listen.
argument. What's the counter argument?
There's no God in marriage, and
That's
divorce
an
court,
assertion, not
there's
an
no
argument.
God in divorce court.
God's not
I
an
assert
argument.
that there's no
Okay,
God
well, there
in
is a
divorce
God
court.
in divorce court. Argument defeated.
Exactly. Yeah.
Argument defeated.
Oh my goodness, boy.
I mean, once again, Andrew Wilson, he just makes it's hard to disagree with Andrew Wilson. The only way you can disagree with Andrew Wilson is if you are a feminist, if you are a part of the Labiquita crew, right? But when you listen to this man, he makes great points. And I mean, once again, you would want to get married through the church. You would want to get married through the tabernacle, whatever your respective culture, religion is. You would want to get married through them because, once again, they can govern your relationships. Once again, when you're talking about marriage, dang near in every culture, they're all marriages, right? All marriages tend to be the same, where the man is leading, the woman is up under him, and she takes care of the household. And we already know the typical roles. You have a lot of people who are just not spiritually inept. They could care less about God. They could care less about having structure. The reason you want to be in a church, the reason you want to be a part of a tabernacle, not just any old tabernacle or church, right? But if you want to be, the reason you want to be a part of one, because it gives you structure. The reason you want to believe in God or a God, because it gives you structure. It gives you, it sets boundaries, right? It gives you goals, give you more morals or morality if you don't already have it. So when you're looking at marriage, once again, man, it's all about family. I mean, dang near every religion, every culture, it's always about family. That is what makes society thrive, family. But of course, when you have a state, right, that you are getting married up under, right, you're getting married up under God through the state, right? Only the state dictates what happens in that marriage. And as you can see, men are getting towed up left and right. And that's what Coach Greg Adams is arguing. Like, bro, why we want to get into, like, why we want to tell men to get in that when it's not even beneficial. And Andrew Wilson is just saying that, hey, it can be beneficial if we get our churches and our tabernacle involved, and they be the ones to dictate whether we get, whether who gets what, whether, who gets what child. Once again, man, it should be through the church that you got married up under, not through the government. The government should acknowledge it though, right? But y'all guys, let me know down below what y'all guys think. Do me a huge favor, leave me a like, leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel. Till the next one.